Well, if recruiting is the lifeblood, rivalry's the heartbeat, and the hearts will be beating quickly. Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium. You know, Alabama's won the last 6 meetings between these two. Average margin of victory, 4 touchdowns. This game doesn't feel like that. There have been some classics, most of them in Jordan-Hare, but in 2010, Cam Newton, the comeback game, they call it, at Auburn, down 24-0. Lucky he wasn't down by 30 or 40 by halftime. Newton had a huge second half. The late, great Philip Lutzenkirchen making the catch, and Auburn came back to win it 28-27, went on to win the national championship. And then everybody remembers last year, all was lost, 4th and 31. Just like Nick drew it up. Wanted to make them think they had it for a second. Just let them think it for a minute, Nick. And then now, Texas wide receiver Isaiah Bond.
Great player.
Etching his name into Iron Bowl history as Alabama won it 27-24, went on to win the SEC. So a lot of intensity in this game, no matter the circumstances. No one's experienced it quite like you have.
Well, there's a huge advantage for the home team in this game. We were 7-1 when we played at Alabama. We were like 5-4 when we played at Auburn. But I think Kalen DeBoer has a huge job in front of him in terms of getting his players ready to play this game. You know, they had college football playoff, aspirations, and now that's maybe not the case, but this game is really important to the people in the state of Alabama. You know, when you're born in Alabama, you have a birthright. You're either going to be for Alabama or you're going to be for Auburn. You grow up that way with great passion. So this is a big game to a lot of people, and it's a big game to the players.
Wait, what you said, you almost calling that game last week, is that game went down and Bama lost it, you can almost feel the life of Alabama coming out of them. And in Norman, and you just wonder now, a week later, it's a rivalry game, so that helps. But what can he do to get them to engage, to be able to take advantage of that home field? Pat, I know you got Auburn on the other side that hasn't had the kind of year they envisioned, even though they're getting a little bit better here lately. Man, I can't. The spirit of that game is going to be fascinating to see.
Well, to Coach Saban's point, I mean, Kalen DeBoer, first year there, filling in the boots of the GOAT. You're not going to make the college football playoff. I do not have a vote in the college football playoff committee. Okay, that is not something, but probably not making a 12-team playoff after everything they've done. And also, you can't lose to Auburn at home in your first year. If you're trying to win over that fan base, win over the boosters, win over everything, you got to win this game. But they got their work cut out for them. Against Oklahoma last week, they gave up 257 rush yards. Okay, and this crew got to see what Jarquez Hunter could do last week for that Auburn team. He went bananas against Texas A&M. So there's a road for Auburn to win and really.
You reminded the folks about Jarquez?
They didn't even respond with a hiss. I thought we'd get a hiss on that.
Jarquez went bananas.
One hiss.
But they're past that. SEC championship, if they win today, they don't need to think about what happened last week against Auburn. But there is a road for Auburn to beat Alabama. And look out for true freshman wide receiver from Auburn, Cam Coleman. Nobody really talked about him because Ryan Williams and Jeremiah Smith and everything like that. Ryan Williams hasn't gone for more than 40 yards in the last 3 weeks. So it's like Cam Coleman's coming on, Jarquez Hunter's coming on.
Peyton Thorne's coming on.
Kalen needs this one down there in Alabama.
Although Ryan Williams should have gone for more than 40 yards last week.
Yeah.
Kind of an egregious call there.
That was beautiful.
Agreed.
Yeah, when you look at Auburn, they're going to come in there with a lot of confidence after they won the game, quadruple overtime over the Aggies. And I'm just wondering what's the mindset of Alabama coming to this game. Earlier this season, I said that they're a team who were stuck in between two worlds, like who they were and who they want to be. They still don't have an identity. This is a big game for them. They're 4-3 in the conference. Auburn would love to send them out of the regular season just 500 in the SEC, 4-4. Can you imagine that?
Right.
Coach, that would be crazy.
Well, after last week, Auburn is hot, Alabama is not. That's the big thing. And the Auburn is looking for a big upset, and they can get it if Peyton Thorne plays a great game. But here's another point. Coach Freeze has beaten Alabama 2 times in his career. That's pretty high. Many people say that. I think it's a big upset. Watch it this week, Auburn against Alabama.
Not so fast. Adversity causes some to break and some to be great. And that's Alabama's challenge today.
It sounds like you're trying to coach them from this.
Trying to give him an identity.
Why don't you step to the camera here, Coach?
I'm sure they're listening to that. Hey, we'll pick this game later on, but right now you've got a rivalry game on the board, Steve.
What do you got, Stevie?
We got we got a new rivalry they're trying to get, but Washington, Oregon. Washington's the worst team in the country on the road against the spread. They're winless in conference. You mentioned 0-3 for Dan Lanning. We're going to lay them with Oregon.
Lay him and laugh. You're going to lay him and laugh?
Yeah, you want to talk about hate? There's a lot of hate up there.
Oh, yeah.
We love down here,
Yes,
too.
sir.
Jesus, America. We hate Texas. A lot of hate up there. Last week, I hate that you went 1-2. Love that you're 24-15 on the year, Steve.
Thanks, buddy.
Making money off of Steve's brain. I like doing that.
Appreciate you.
No problem, brother. Keep swinging that
Breaking
bat.
this up a little bit now. We're going to do Superdogs early Saturday Superdogs delivered by DoorDash. Want to remind everybody that the Superdog MVP from last week was the fake punt at Penn State that made sure that Kirk and LC had to settle for the cover. So the Superdog MVP going to Penn State special teams. LC, who you got this week?
Florida State is 16.5-point underdog versus Florida. And they couldn't get it. Because of the poor season, they've been working on Florida for 3 weeks. That could help. And listen, there's nothing like winning at home against the used Gators. Early Christmas present for the State fans.
Noel's looking good. They're ready to go. All right, Miami and Syracuse. Look out of the Carrier Dome.
Here we go.
There's just something a little sneaky about going to the Carrier Dome. They can score points. This is going to be a shootout, whoever wins this one. I think the Orange can hang around.
I'm taking Syracuse, too, because,
Oh, wow.
Syracuse can throw it. They can light it up. Miami's had struggles in the secondary, so I think this is going to be a high-scoring game, and Syracuse is going to cover the spread.
Poor old Michigan walking in the Columbus without their two best players. When I looked at the spread, it was 21 points. I think I'm getting 21. Maybe they'll cover. This is a rivalry game. A lot of hate, a lot of animosity. They love to go down there and just compete. Just compete with the Buckeyes.
Arizona State's the best team in the country against the spread at 9-2.
Really?
Arizona looks to deactivate the Valley. Watch out in Tucson. Watch out.
Better you than me, my friend.
I love that state of Arizona. I also love Southern Miss getting 17.5 versus Troy. So what? Southern Miss is 1-10. So am I in this Superdog. Why not today? Southern Miss, do your thing.
I'm going to go with Cal getting 13.5 at SMU. Now, look, Cal's lost 5 games this year by a grand total of 17 points.
Whoa.
All 5 losses. Well, I'm getting 13.5
I like
here.
this one.
You like that one?
Yeah.
All right. We'll see
Great
if they
one.
can stick around and stay close. By the way,
Everything you pick wins. So.
Yes.
honorable mention special teams player, Superdog Player of the Week was to Iowa
Jimmy
State for
G.
committing all of these miscues right there. To keep
to Jimmy G for not letting me go with my Florida pick. That was my original pick.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
That's the
I do want
honorable
to say,
mention.
though, you do understand how this works. Like Nick's ahead of you.
Yeah.
So if you take the same pick that Nick does,
I didn't know he
I didn't catch it.
ahead of you.
He texts me wherever I am. It says, "Who's your dog?" And I said, "Give me
Some sort of
Syracuse."
collusion over there.
He said, "But oh no." He texted him and said, "Who's your dog?" He said, "Peter."
Good dog, baby.
Peter always wins. He's Superdog that always wins. All right.
He does. On a leash, though. We got him tightened up here this week.
That's the Superdogs recap as we all pursue Game Day.